Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum class. This is Dr. Amir Shaheen, your instructor for the communication skills class. I'll be, with the help of these slides that you can see with me, I'll be rendering those concepts that are necessary for us to know in the first meeting. Therefore, bear with me. First of all, who am I? I will introduce myself, and later on at stages when I will be interacting, I'll be asking you the same question as to who you are, so that you are able to communicate about yourself. Because at most of the places, most of the times when we are into interviews or we are into situations like that, we are supposed to give a complete introduction of ourselves. And in later stages in your career, when you will be working out as engineers, definitely you will be facing this problem of introducing yourself. And at that moment, most of the engineers, I have found them to be, in my personal interactions, to be very much reticent, very much, they are less into speaking. Therefore, there will be multiple purposes for the class. We will be, by the help of this course at communication skills, trying to improve ourselves vis-a-vis various things, and there are some learning outcomes that we will be aiming at. First, our learning outcome will be to have the individual and teamwork ability, in which we will focus on the ability to function effectively as an individual and as a member or leader in diverse teams in multidisciplinary settings. And the second objective that we want to achieve through this class will be to have an ability to communicate effectively, orally as well as in writing, on complex activities with the community that you being engineers will be interacting with, and the society at large. So this will also help you enhance your skills at comprehension as well as writing effectively reports and designs and documents that are usually part of the engineering class, the class that we have of engineers working at different places. And you will also be learning presentation skills, and how to give the clear instruction and how to receive the clear instruction. These are some of the objectives. But first, who am I? I am Dr. Amir Shaheen, as you can see in this slide. I did my master's in English literature from Government College, University Lahore. When I was a student there, it was not a university, it was a college, but later on in 2002 it was awarded the status of a university. So since then it is a university. Then I joined, right after my master's, I got into teaching, and I am teaching here in this university, that's Government College, University Faisalabad, for the last 16 years now. And I also did my MPhils in Applied Linguistics from Government College, University Faisalabad, being a faculty member as well as a student in the Department of Applied Linguistics. And lately I have completed my PhD in English literature, and I have very recently, I have published a book titled National Imagination and Diasporic Identities in Pakistani Anglophone 9/11 Fiction. The book is available throughout the globe. It is available in digital format on Amazon all across the globe. It is also published in paperback edition. It is also published in hardback edition from Pakistan. I am working as an assistant professor of English literature in the Department of English Literature. So I will be your instructor for this semester. Hope we have a very wonderful time, and this will be a dual learning experience, a mutual learning experience. I'll also be learning many things from you, because every student has something to give to the teacher back as an instructor. I look forward to a very good working mutual relationship, inshallah. Now, as we are starting our lecture, so I would request all of you to listen to me. If you are into any possession and you are at the same time you're using your phone, or you are into different things, so please try to focus on what we are going to do in this class today. Thank you. A little bit about the course schedule. As you see, that this is a communication skills class. So we will be having, apart from the lectures, we will be having some other things. That is, like, we will be having quizzes. Here I have given the number 5, but we will moderate it according to our needs of the class. And the other thing that we'll be using is presentations. And here I have mentioned two presentations. We once again we can, you know, increase the number of presentations, or we can moderate it. Uh, and then the group presentations, that will, through this task we will be able to understand that how communication works within groups, or how the interaction between groups is going to help us in communications. And you will be given 5 to 7 assignments, one research paper that will be uh, regarding your own subject, or something extra your subject. So we will decide about these things, and we will keep in mind the learning program outcomes that are given by your department, inshallah. So these are the things that will be part of the course, and they will be helping us in assessing as well. Assignment submission rules. You will be submitting your assignments through email, or the subject of the assignment should be in the following format, and you will attach your name with it, and there will be deduction in the late submissions of assignment. And you see that this slide is telling you very much, but I do not want to intimidate you. I do not want you to look at this and feel that you are not at ease. So inshallah we will try our level best to work out in a very workable manner that how we can have our assessment basing on your capabilities that we will be checking throughout. Books which are recommended for this course are, here I have mentioned only two books, and first is Effective Business Communication by Herta A. Murphy, Herbert W. Hildebrandt, and Jane P. Thomas. It is a very bulky book, and it is thought to be the Bible of business communication. It almost talks about every aspect of communication. And the other book is Technical Communication Principles and Practices by Meenakshi Raman and Sangeeta Sharma. It is also a very good book. So these two books, I will request you to arrange this Effective Business Communication by Herta Murphy. This book is available in pirated form as well. You can find it very easily. As far as the other book, Meenakshi Raman's Technical Communication, is concerned, this book is out of print, but still I have PDF form of this book, so I will be either uploading it on the website, on the Google Classroom, or I'll be giving it to you through WhatsApp groups. So these are the two books that you should recourse to, that you can use. And apart from that, I'll be giving you these slides that I'm using here in your class, so you can use these materials at your ease. Overview of the course outline. This is a comprehensive overview of your course outline for the Communication Skills program, in which we'll be talking about what is communication, components of communication, context, medium, sender, receiver, message, feedback. These are the concepts that we'll be talking in components of communication. And the other item will be reading and writing techniques. We'll come to know about them. What is technical communication, the history of technical communication, factors to consider in technical communication, how to present in front of others, what is a presentation techniques, types of presentation, rehearsals. These items will be part of our presentation section. Then we have effective communication in professional context and different types of audience. That is very important to know. Language and style of writing, voices and their types, the appearance and design of business messages, essential and optional parts of a letter, how to write good sentences, word watch, tone and types of tunes in speaking and writing, the job application process, interviews and follow-ups, successful preparation for the job interview, most common questions for the interview, language and style of writing. I will also be knowing about what is plagiarism. As being engineers into the field, you will be writing up reports, submitting data that should not be plagiarized, and we will be dealing with this concept as well because it is very important. Essential parts of resume, that is how to write resume and all that. types of resume and effective resume for getting right jobs, things to know before writing your first resume. These are the concepts that we'll be talking in the resume section of our lectures. And 7 C's of effective communication. What are the things that we need to know about these 7 C's being to be an effective communicator? So these are the concepts that we will be knowing throughout this course, this semester. And well, it seems that it is a long list, and it might be very much threatening right now for the students that, oh, we have this much to cover. But trust me, it is not that difficult. And once you put yourself in, you start in line with things, they turn up themselves very easily. So what we need is a little bit of motivation to continue, and I'm sure that you are already motivated, because engineers are the cream of our society, and being the cream and the best students that are taken from our studies you know, therefore I believe that you people can do with it and very easily dispense with all your duties. So here I will be giving you some, you will be definitely you will be given a chance to ask me questions, but I want to motivate you with some of the slides that I have here. Now here, this is a slide that you can see. It gives us a picture, and what matters most is how you see yourself. Now this picture, for your motivation, I have used here. You can see that in this picture we see a cat sitting in front of a mirror, and she is looking into that mirror, her own reflection, that of a lion. So you see, two different body structures are communicated through this picture. You know, cat is a small creature, lion is a bigger creature, although they are related to each other. Of course, we all know that cat is the aunt of the lion. But the message in this picture is that no matter how smaller you are in your stature, but you can still dream big. You can still think bigger, and you can achieve that. So it is all a matter of that how you look at yourself, what sort of programs that you want to follow, what sort of achievements that you have fixed for yourself, and how you want to see yourself in future. In the present time, we all are struggling, and those struggles lead us towards successes, and those successes are actually the big designs, the big imaginative projects that we have assigned ourselves, and we are worried to achieve them. We are working hard to achieve them. So therefore, through this picture, I want to motivate you as to understand this very thing, that what matters most is how you see yourself. So our course outline was bigger, but it doesn't mean that we cannot achieve it. Next picture, optimism. You know, optimism, that is, think about the brighter side. There are flowers, there are always flowers for those who want to see them. So here, through this picture, I want to inculcate the thing in you is that you have to ascribe something, some duty to yourself. One has to be optimistic in one's life to achieve those goals which one sets for oneself. So your goal is to be optimistic. Being students, we have to be optimistic. And if you want to look around and you look around things in a positive manner, they will turn out positively for you as well. So this is another motivator. And honesty. Better to fail with honor than succeed by fraud. Sophocles. This is a line by Sophocles, one of the great Greek playwrights and thinker of his times, who happened to see a war as well in his life. And his words are that better to fail with honor than succeed by fraud. Now this thing is very common. We watch this thing in our life. We look around and we find that many of the people are achieving things with little with little work, with little effort, and with less honesty. So those things, those successes are not long lasting. For the time being, you may be, suppose you are taking an exam, and in that exam situation you are sitting, and you are cheating at the same time. But during that exam, when you are cheating and you are trying, you will be achieving those results, good grades, but those grades will not be translating into your personality. You know, a personality that is built on lies, that is what you are doing actually. You are lying to yourself. So by committing a fraud, one is actually lying to oneself. At that time, when the fraud is successful, the results are very much clear. You have the success, but what is hidden behind is that it is based on fraud, and frauds are not long lasting. Honesty is the thing that lasts longer. So it might be difficult for you in the beginning to be honest, and to you know, to look forward to things in a right manner, and they will be needing a lot of hard work from your side. But trust me that that hard work is sooner or later going to pay you back. It will pay you back in a manner that there will be a time when you will not be needing, you will be self-reliant, you will not be needing any outsourcing, you will be completely independent. So we have to be honest with ourselves. Each and every step you take must move you toward your goal. Consistency. We have to be consistent about achieving our goals. Now, our goal in this class is that we are, as students of communication skills, learning how to communicate effectively, how to participate in teamwork tasks, and how to get our outcomes. So, your each and every step must move toward your goal. You do not have to forget what you want to achieve. There is no room for, you know, looking aside from your goal, or changing your direction. So you have to be constantly thinking about your goal. And there are times when we are after something and we are working hard for that, but there are blackouts. No matter, it doesn't matter, there are blackouts, and those blackouts, those are the times when we are feeling low, when we are not having the right sort of energy in us. But those are timeouts. Actually, your body and brain is actually demanding from you in those situations that, okay, I have been working hard, now I'm a bit tired, so please give me rest. So do not be afraid in those times. Those are the patches. These patches come in all of us, in all of our lives, and we have to deal them very courageously, bravely, and but be focused. We have to be focused about our goal. The time, these lapsing times do pass. If we stick to our goal, then we are not, trust me, we are not losing our time, which is very precious. Courage. To achieve goals, one need to be courageous. Courage is the most important thing that we need to have. He who is not courageous enough to take risks will accomplish nothing in life. I think this is a very obvious statement. To reach a top, you need to work accordingly. You need to, brush aside different difficulties that you may come across in your life. So how can we how can we deal with those difficulties? Only when we are courageous, when we have this, we are, honest, we are hardworking, we are focused, we are honest, and we now need to have courage to follow our dreams, and then dreams come true. But to, to have a dream come true, first we need to have dream, and dreams are big things. Dreams are big concepts, and those concepts can only be achieved through courage. And courage is actually the ability to take risks, to think bigger, and to fight with it. So being students of communication skills, definitely we have bigger problems, being able to speak, that is able to communicate in a written form, as well as all these things which we are lacking. How it is so that we are studying English language for say 14, now you are students of third semester, which means that you are in your graduation's final semester if it was a regular system. And so we can see that it is as much as, say, almost 14 years of education that you have spent, and still we are not well versed in speaking as well as writing English language. So it means that we have not been dealing with this issue in an appropriate manner. The only time you will find success before work is in the dictionary. Now, this statement tells us one thing, that success is not a word. If it is a word, then you can find it in dictionary. But success is actually a lot more than meets the eye, than what we can see at surface. Success is all those things that we have discussed already, those motivating slides that I have shown you right now, talking about, focus, talking about honesty, talking about courage, all these things. They are the concepts that are actually behind the state of being success. And one of the thinkers also said that success is counted sweetest by those who never succeed. You see, success is counted sweetest by those who never succeed. So the people who have been through different kinds of failures, they actually know the worth of success. And through this slide, I want to embed in you one understanding. Before we launch ourselves with the communication skills course and we talk about the technical things, theoretical things that we need to know beforehand, we need to be prepared for those things. But I'm showing you these slides as I want to embed in you that if we are failing in our time, in our lives, at various time brackets in our lives, we do not need to be worried about it. We are failing because we want to succeed. So for that success and to avoid that failure, we need to work very hard with vis-a-vis those dimensions that I have already discussed with you, as we need to be honest to ourselves, we need to avoid frauds, we need to be careful, and we need to be courageous to take risks, and we need to be very much target oriented, we need to be very much focused. So these things will automatically lead us towards success. But there is no shortcut to success. If there is a shortcut to success, that success is not long lasting. That success will not be a success that you will be sticking to for the rest of your life. That success will leave you and you will not know when it left you. So therefore the word success that we find in dictionary most commonly is actually a word without any kind of effect on us if it is in dictionary. This word success we need to tell ourselves daily, on daily basis, when we stand in front of a mirror, that alright, I have these shortcomings, I need to overcome them. How I can overcome them? I can overcome them by being honest to myself. I can overcome them by being courageous. I can overcome them by being focused. Then, believe me, you will be pretty much a successful person already. So communication skill is a skill that we need to keep taking care of throughout our lives, and it will take a lot of work to keep refreshing your knowledge about these things. Next slide is, the more you avoid change, the more you hinder the process of growth in your life. Now right now, this course that I have offered you, communication skills, and I have enumerated many items into that we need to talk about throughout our semester. This might be a change pattern for many of you to have occurred in your life now, that okay, this teacher, Dr. Amir, is our instructor for this course, and he is going to do these things with us, and we have not done them already, and this is a change. We are not ready to to come to terms with this change. But mind me, changes are always for good. They always bring in along with them some good effect as well. So this statement that the more you avoid change, the more you hinder the process of growth in your life, is very much right, and we have to welcome changes, because without change in our life, the life will be drab, the life will be dull, and it will not be attractive. Hmm? All right, let's come to the business. I think I have given you enough of the motivation for this course, and today we will be talking about the first concept that we need to understand in this week's lecture. We need to understand what is communication, right? And this is a bit theoretical. These concepts are a bit theoretical, and but once again, knowing about things and having a mindful state of mindfulness will always be helpful. So when we know about something, then we are able to dispense with it in a better manner. So we'll be talking about what is communication. In simple words, we can say that just to convey the message means communication. If we go in more detail, we can say that communication is the process of transmitting A to B and receiving from B to A messages. Now this is a cycle. This is a continuum of interaction between people. It is not certain that all the time that we will be having people's A to B. We might be having A to B, C, D in any situation. It can be a larger group that will be communication, that will be into the communication process, and so this process is simple to complex. It moves from simple to complex, and we must know about this as well. So communication is just to convey the message between not only A to B, but also A to B, C, D, E, F, G, H, right? Many people in a group setting, and we will be and what is conveyed is a message. We will be knowing that what messages are later on when we move onward with these slides. Effective communication. Now, communication and effective communication. How can we differentiate between these two things? Say I stand somewhere and start speaking, and people are listening to me. I am communicating, but that communication is not effective because nobody is understanding me. So if I stand at a place and I start speaking in German language, and I'm standing in a Pakistani situation, and there I have people all around me are Pakistanis, and I'm speaking in German language. Well, from my side, that is A. Suppose I'm A, and my interlocutors are and my listeners are, say, B, C, D, E, or only B. They're listening to me, they're around me. I'm trying to communicate in a language that is, they don't know about that language, right? So the process of A to B is complete. I am communicating, I'm talking, I am using words, phrases, all that, sentences. But those sentences, those words, phrases, and sentences are not going directly to the minds of the listeners. So the communication here is not effective. So if someone achieves the desired level of objective through communication, we can say that it is effective communication. What is the desired level of objective? Desired level of objective is that the communication cycle is full. It means that what I want to communicate has also lodged itself into the mind of the listener, and that listener has not only listened to it, but has understood what is the meaning of that. So most of the times in the situations, social situations, or gatherings, or workplaces, communication is not effective. Why? Because it is not able to achieve the desired level of its objective. That is, making the listeners understand what you are saying. And we can achieve this level of understanding through various techniques that we'll be talking, inshallah, later on. First of all, we are understanding these theoretical concepts about communication, that what is communication. So communication is not mere communicating, it has to be effective as well. That is, it does achieve its goal. That is, if your communication get the proper response from the receiver, it means that you effectively convey the message. Say, I ask someone to bring me a glass of water, but he doesn't understand me in that language, that English language, and he understands only Punjabi language. And but well, in our situation, it might not be possible because we are so much into English language interaction. Say, I will say that in our condition there is a I say it in Farsi language, that is Persian language, right? How can a person speaking other language can? First, language is the greatest barrier itself. Knowing about that we need to know that we are communicating with the person within the same language, and then not only within the same language, but also keeping in mind that we need to use the words, the phrases, the sentences that are friendly to that listener. So if the receiver is not understanding, I ask somebody to do something and he does not understand it, so he will be doing something, and because he might be in a situation that is mostly in when you will be in your jobs, your boss asks you to do something and you have not actually understood what he said, so you will be doing something, but that will not be the thing that you have been asked to do. In such situations, in workplaces, we know that okay, this is an order coming from our boss and we have to fulfill it, we have to work it out. But most oftenly what happens with us is that uh, in such workplaces, communication is poor due to some reason, and then it entails to drastic results. The outcomes are not solicited. They are not those outcomes that actually the boss wants to have from his subordinate. And the subordinate just wants to complete the order, and he doesn't know what is the order, so he is going to complete the order in his own or her manner, which will not be befitting. So if your communication gets the proper response from the receiver, it means that you are effectively conveying the message. Otherwise, your message has not been conveyed. It is a disaster. There is no outcome going on, so it will be another failure. How to achieve effective communication? These are some of the things that we need to keep in our mind to achieve the effective communication. We need to encourage creative and critical thinking. That is what I am doing. If we are considering our audience, that okay, I'm talking to Ahmed. Ahmed belongs to say you know he belongs to a certain class, he belongs to a certain ethnic group, and by using some such words that will be reflecting, suppose I am an Urdu speaking person and I meet a Punjabi speaking person, right? So I welcome him in Ji Aayan. That person will already be with me. Now by using a word, a phrase from his language, I have tried to come closer to him so that he is attentive. And consider audience's technical background. We need to consider to be effective in our communication process, we need to know that what sort of audience we are dealing with. You know, you will be talking to a PN in a different language, you will be talking to a professor in a different language, you will be talking to an engineer in a different language, keeping in mind that okay, this person is technical or not technical or semi-technical. These are the levels on which we have to understand the person we are talking to. Consider the audience's cultural background and gender. I have already referred to this cultural background when I was talking about that you have to look into the ethnic, structure of that person you are talking to. Say if I'm an Urdu speaker and the other person is a Punjabi speaker, so there is a cultural difference between us, and knowing the cultural difference will lead us towards cultural mutual respect, and this cultural mutual respect will lead us towards a better communication, towards an effective communication, and this is how the mutual trust between two communicators will be developing, and they will be in a position to listen to each other and understand each other. And gender, of course, I mean, we now we have gender free terms coming into vogue, and no longer it is a fashion to say chairman. It is a question to say chairperson. We'll be talking about later on. I have some slides to talk about that too. When we are talking, when we are communicating, we need to know the gender, and we need to understand that, and we need to address to it in such a manner that it is not going to create any gender bias. you know After all, a good communication is one which is not biased. A biased communication is already towards the downfall, right? It will not bear you the same results. It will not be helpful. Consider audience's knowledge of the subject. Suppose uh, in this situation we need to be very much careful about the say a doctor, an MBBS doctor and a PhD doctor. These are two different people, and uh, one concept about doctors is that they are doctors, they are MBBS doctors, and we usually, now I'm a PhD doctor. If somebody says me, "Oh, Dr. Saab, I have a headache, and please could you suggest me a pill?" This is what the person has not understood actually my subject. That is, the person has already believed that if I'm a doctor, okay, then I am that doctor who deals with the medicine, or who deals with the treatment of the diseased people or sick people or patients. So this will the start of the communication will be wrong. It will be basing on a wrong piece of knowledge, and it will be entailing towards a misunderstanding until and unless I do clear it that, okay sir, that will be an embarrassing situation as well. And most of the times we have embarrassing situations in communication because we are unable to understand the audience's knowledge of the subject, and we are talking so much high-fi things, and the other person is at some mid-level, and he's unable to or he or she is unable to understand. There comes a point where there is no point to return, where we find out that, okay, if I have been talking to this person for say 4 to 5 minutes and this person has not been able to understand me, then where do we stand? We have failed our whole communication process. The communication process which we started has ended up at a place where there are no meanings left for each other. So we have to take care of these things, that we have to consider the audience's information needs, that what they do want to know, and how much they need to know, and how far we need to give them the information, and consider the audience's technical background, that whether the sort of knowledge that we are sharing with them, do they understand it? Are they in a position to understand it or not? Do they have a sufficient background to understand it or not? So these are the questions regarding the technical background of the audiences while we are communicating with our audience. And the audience's cultural background and gender, these are the important things we need to know, because it will bring in the trust, the level of ease between the communicators, and the audience's knowledge of the subject. That, like I said, that we need to know that, okay, our language has to be, we have to fix our language according to the level of knowledge level of our audience. Say an engineer will be a doctor, PhD doctor, or an MBBS doctor, or say a shopkeeper, or say a lay worker. These are two different identities, and we need to take care of these knowledges beforehand when we are communicating with them. Well, what is effective communication? There you can see in this picture many people are sitting, say 20 to 30 people are sitting in a gathering, and they are belonging to different age groups. So this is a difficult situation of a communication process. In this situation, communication is already marred. It is already in doldrums. It is already at the risk of failure. Because why? The diversity of the group. Although they are all women, but we can see that they are of all ages. There are old-aged women, there are young women, there are kids, women, girls sitting and standing. So all these are different brains, all these are coming from different walks of life. They might be using the same dress code, means that they might be belonging to same culture, but their level of understanding might be different from each other. Many of them will be the working wives, many of them will be the housewives, and so these are two different categories, and many of them might be having different kinds of husbands, different areas of life they will be representing too. Many of the kids will be having many different backgrounds of their parentages, that there will be inter-ethnic marriages as well, intercultural marriages as well. So see, this kind of a situation in which we have larger group of people and we have to communicate to them, uh, it becomes difficult. Now, right now, I'm talking to you people. You all are belonging to different, you all are too many people in this group I'm talking to, but you are technically, I know that you are students of electrical engineering department, and your need is to have some knowledge about the communication skills so that you are able to exploit them, use them in your own personal lives. Therefore, my target audience, that is you people, is very much clear to me. But when you come across some such place, when you are into a meeting, when you are into a group meeting, when you are into a report writing, you need to understand beforehand that who you are going to talk to, who you are going to write to. Like, I know that I'm talking to you people, therefore my language choice is is completely into English language. I'm not using any other language. I'm not using Punjabi language. I'm not using Saraiki language. I'm not using any other regional language, because I know that this is a class in which I need to speak in English and I need to solicit a response from you in the very language. Therefore, communicating in a diverse group and knowing beforehand their needs is very important. Consider the possibility of communication failure. Like I was saying, that such a situation in which we have a large group of people listening to us, the failure is very much in offing. The communication failure can occur. So you must expect resistance from the audience. You must uh, uh, you must expect resistance from your audience, that they will be asking you questions, they will be giving you some non-verbal gestures through which they will be already trying to communicate to you that they are embarrassed, or they are not understanding you completely. So you see, these are the things which will be giving you the resistance coming from your audience. And recognize your communication constraints. You are at a place where the constraint is that you are into a group of people who only understand a particular language, so particular kind of language. Say they are not they are not literate people, so you have to convey to them in an easy language, very very easy language, or you will try to put into their cultural words in that. And legal, socio-economic, psychological, institutional, these are the factors. As I was talking about with the vis-a-vis the picture that I've already shown you of different women sitting in a circle. So you see that I was referring to that very thing, that those women in that picture, they are very much, they can be very much resistance. They can show a level of resistance to their speaker, and they will be causing a lot many constraints for the speaker to understand, and because they all belong to different social, economic, psychological and institutional places, and they have their different backgrounds. Here I was already talking about the gender neutral terms. Using gender neutral terms for occupations, positions, roles, this is very important for us to know. We must know that we do not have to use gender biased terms, because now is no time. We are into 21st century. Things are very much at advanced levels now. Human beings have evolved, and they have evolved to a level of ease now, where the perfect roles are very much known to us. So terms that specify a particular gender can unnecessarily affect certain stereotypes when used generically. And we have to fight stereotypes, because stereotypes are actually imprisonments. They just imprison you into a concept, and we have to avoid them. Like these words which we have to avoid are businessman, fireman, housewife, layman, postman, policeman, salesman, saleswoman, salesgirl, spokesman, workman. These are the words, these are gender specific words. They're not gender neutral. Now we are living in a world in which feminism and the toxic masculinity. These are the concepts very much in vogue these days around us on television, on media. We keep on learning about various incidents in which some women took offensive from a man using a very gender specific language. So these sort of words, which are gender specific words, they create a lot of embarrassment for the speakers. The communication is already tinged with malice, or the communication itself is not working in the right direction as it is biased. A man talking to a woman does not need to tell a woman that he is a man, and a woman talking to a man does not need to tell him that she is a woman. So you see, this difference of genders that we usually have in our talks is very dangerous thing. We have to avoid it. Being students of communication skills, I will inculcate this in you. I will inculcate this in you, that you have to be very much careful about these words, or the words like these words. You can better use for the alternatives for these words, like business person, executive, manager, business owner, chairperson, firefighter, homemaker, layperson, no specialist, non-professional, mail or letter carrier, police officer or law enforcement officer, salesperson, sales representative, sales associate, spokesperson, worker. You see, these words are the alternative to those words which are shown here in red, because they are the dangerous words. We have to avoid them. They are gender specific words, whereas the other words in English, in black color, they are the gender neutral terms, and we have to remember them always. Remember them always when we are speaking into our audience, that we have to be careful about not using gender specific words. Components of communication: context. In context, we see internal means and external means, and the other thing is sender or encoder. The other component is message. The fourth component is medium. The fifth concept is receiver, that is the decoder. Six is the feedback. Now, these 6 items are the components of communication. Without any one of them missing, in our communication is liable to fail. That the communication failure will occur. So we have to keep in mind that all these components of communication are addressed to when we are, say, writing a piece of letter, or we are writing anything, or we are speaking in any situation, and we will deal them now in detail. Context tells us reasons for communication, and reasons may be internal or external. In any situation, internal means a company wants to discuss an idea, issue to its employees. The message should be either in writing or verbal. Now, in this slide, you can very easily see that it refers to the internal communication of any business organization. We need to have, when we are writing, say, within an organization, we must know that we are writing within an organization. I'm writing to my boss. I must know that I need to talk to my boss in a certain manner, and I'm writing to my subordinate. I must know that I'm going to write it to my subordinate, and I need to have that language. It must use the words like directives, like you are directed to, you are advised to. Or if I'm writing to my boss, then it is the direction is sought, is that kind of, we will use this situation in this manner. So in internal communication, if it is an internal communication, we need to know that this is an internal communication between the employees and how we can use it. It can be at horizontal level, or it can be at vertical level. That is, if it is coming from the high up to the low, to the subordinate person, then it might be having a different register, it might be having a different language. And if it is going upwards, say it is, so this is vertical, and we will be talking about these concepts, vertical and horizontal, as well later on. But for the time being, we will just use them as concepts that a communication, internal communication, that is from above to below, is vertical communication, and a communication that is between the same level people is a horizontal. communication. External, that is, we are in the internal context, some query for stakeholders or from outside the organization. You may respond to query through email, fax, telephone, letter, verbal letters. These are the usual things that we use while communicating to the external factors, that is beyond our organization where we are working, or beyond the place we are working. So these are the two concepts of internal and external communication. We need to know beforehand that we are talking within our organization, or we are going to talk to without our organization. You see, the level of ease within an organization might be there, but when you are talking to external, external people, the people out from your organization, then your language has to be very much cordial. It has to be very much in line with the codes of business that you want to do with them. Sender or encoder. When you are sending the message, you are the encoder. So these are the same words used for one person, one who is writing or one who is speaking. Word, you mean writer or speaker, decides whether the message should be written or oral. She may choose words, symbols, pictures or graphics that express the objective in the real sense. So one of the component of communication is a sender or the encoder. Right now I'm talking to you, so I'm sending you message. I'm encoding actually in my mind. Right now what is happening is that I'm choosing words that I need to put forward to you. Right now I'm using symbols and pictures and graphics through these slides that I'm showing you right now. So you see, things are working on two levels. One is the word level and the other is the graphic picture level. I'm using these two things right now, and I am in my mind conceiving those words, and then I'm saying those words with the help of these graphic designs that you can see at your computer screens in the shape of these slides. So this is how I am encoding. I am encoding my message. My message is to talk about communication skills, and I am encoding that message in my words and in my slides. Message is the most important thing, because it is actually the thing that will be leading us towards results. Message is basically the basic idea that you want to communicate. The message may be verbal, means written or spoken, or it may be non-verbal, means symbols, pictures, or unspoken, or sometimes gestures. But here you cannot see me right now, so therefore you cannot see my gestures. Otherwise they also come into the domain of non-verbal communication. So a message is based on two ways of communication, two means of communication, verbal means of communication and non-verbal means of communication. This is very much important component of communication, message itself. Your message should be or must be clear and easy to understand. Otherwise, it will be leading towards communication barrier. It will be a failure, because what is most important is the message. If the message is conveyed clearly, the outcome will be clear. The outcome will be target oriented. It will be goal oriented. The goals will be achieved only when the message is clear. The most important element in message is your receiver. As we have been already talking, you must be well aware about your receiver, to whom you are sending a message, either within the organization or without the organization. Wherever your message is going, that person, that receiver is in your mind already. So there is always a target audience for which a message is written, a message is created in either form, verbal or non-verbal. So while preparing a message, you should keep in mind how your receiver will interpret the message. So there should not be any confusion in your message. There should not be use of puns, there should not be use of double meanings, there should not be the use of verbose words, there should not be the use of words that are not usually used by common people, you see. And oftentimes what we do is that we use a couple of words for one word. Say, it is very lucid and clear. Now, I have used these two words, lucid and clear. Do I need to use them? if I want to be effectively communicative, then I need to be very much clear about the word choice in my message. I need to put those words which are more important, and I must leave those words aside which I think that might be leading towards confusion, right? So the selection of the words in a message is very important, and the knowledge of the receiver to the person to whom you are going to send your message is very important. You being sender should also keep in mind your relationship with the receiver while preparing a message. Now, if you are, say, these days when we are writing text messages, oftenly now the emoticons or they are very much common. Say every message ends with a flower, every message ends with a heart, every message is ending with a wink. So these things are very common nowadays in even common day-to-day SMS messages. Do we think that without an emoticon the message will be incomplete? Well, actually, we need to know about our relationship with the receiver. If a person who is close to me, then I might be using emoticons in my message. Otherwise, there is no use for that. So sometimes wrong messages may create a loss to your organization, to yourself. Now, in a situation, in a workplace situation, if you are using emoticons to your boss, what does it mean? It means that you want some other things from your boss. You want to be on leave, and you do not want to work, and you want to take some benefits in your organization. So these are the things uh, which may have a reverse effect as well. Sometimes uh, a message sent to a vertical message sent to a boss, or from the boss to the subordinate, may lead towards this kind of communication, because these kind of emoticons I was referring to, they are usually used by the people who are friends, right? In a business organization, in a workplace, such kind of emoticons do not work. So the sender should keep in mind his or her relationship with the receiver while preparing his or her messages, which is very important. So sometimes the wrong messages may create a loss to your organization, or it can create a bad impression for you or your company. Medium. The other component of communication is medium. Medium is basically channel through which your message reaches to receiver, and channel vary from situation to situation. Right. Let's say government of Pakistan wants to convey its message to Pakistani nation. Now government will select the effective medium. What are those mediums? TV, radio, papers, or all of the above, keeping in view the importance of the message. So when we talk at micro-organization level, the medium may be writing or non-verbal. And in writing we will be discussing different things, that there are reports, there are letters, there are memos, and there are different things that we use as medium to communicate our message. So this is an important component of communication known as medium. The other component of communication is decoder or the receiver. Like this is the opposite of encoder or sender. So where in the first concept we saw that how a sender has to be careful. So the receiver is the person who receives the message, to whom the message is being sent. In case of government of Pakistan's message, Pakistani nation is receiver, and through television or through whatever the medium that might be, the receiver is receiving that message. In simple words, we can say that receiver is your reader in case of press, letters, etc., or listener in case of TV, radio, speaker, etc. Receiver is also known as decoder. So like we use the words encoder and sender, we use the word receiver and decoder. Feedback. Without feedback, you will not understand that what your message actually achieved. Feedback is basically the response, reaction of receiver after receiving the message. Sender always need feedback to check whether the message effectively reached or not, or in other words, sender need feedback to examine the success or failure of the message. So in an active communication, when we are face to face, we do not have this problem of looking into the feedback, because when we are addressing to people in a in a given situation, that we have people around us, we can look at them and we can understand that whether through their gestures, through the movement of their eyes and through the movement of their eyebrows, we can understand, or the movements in the lines of their forehead, we can understand that the person is having confusion or is having problems in understanding the message that has been sent to him by the sender. Whereas in the communication that is documented in the letter forms, the memo forms, or report forms, the feedback is not that pacey, is not that speedy, is a bit slow, and it takes time to reach back the sender. Therefore, the confusion is longer. It is resolved in a longer period. So when we are into communication, that is a written communication, we have to be very much careful that we are going to have a feedback for that as well, and that feedback should come in a correct, in a fine manner. Otherwise, the effort will be wasted and it will have to be started anew from the scratch. You can see there are two pictures of two people. Uh, we have to guess the occupation of these people. Now, first picture is of a young man with longer hair. He is having an earring as well, though wearing a tie and coat. And the other person is an old man with spectacles, with messy hair and a beard and a tie that is of black color, not technicolor beard. So appearances are very important. Through appearances, we are able to understand what kind of a receiver we have in front of us, and how we must treat him or her. Most of the situations in which we come across different people, we are able to look at the receiver or the person who we are talking to, whom we are communicating to, and we are able to design our language accordingly. And if it is not face-to-face interaction, then if it is a communication through letters or memos, then we need to know that what kind of persons are there who are going to find our letters. Stereotypical traits of scientists. As you can see that the other picture of an old man was that of a scientist. He was wearing a lab coat, eyeglasses, facial hair, large amounts. So these are the things through which we can very much easily understand that okay, this person is a scientist and we need to talk to him or her in a different manner. Any questions? We will have time for that. So here the slides end, and my lecture here also finishes for the time being. पता नहीं वो किधर गया, मैं तो बोल के स्टॉप कर दिया था।